y'all. You're listening to an all-new episode of The Christian Gray Snow Show, a podcast from Hurrdat Media. I'm your host, Christian Gray Snow, and today it's a listener's choice episode, which means each topic and question discussed today is going to be submitted by one of you.
It was you! It was you! It was you!
Call me Karen Huger, hosting a press conference and taking questions because, quite honestly, I feel like that's what I'm doing today for fun. Let's get started. All right, as I just explained, this week is going to be a listener's choice episode, and I'll be honest why. So normally I record like midweek after I've been able to watch all my shows. You know, we got Potomac on Sunday currently, and then we got Beverly Hills, which is coming to an end this week, and Salt Lake City on Wednesday, okay? So normally I record Wednesdays or Thursdays after I've had time to take it all in, but this week, your girl is traveling and unable to record later this week. So I'm recording early in the week and just going to talk to you guys and take questions instead of recapping the other two shows. I will hit on them next week, so do not worry. But yes, I am traveling this week. I'm going to Kentucky. I am going to Lexington, Kentucky to see the Judds in concert, right? The Judds, if you don't know, and honestly, I don't know how much of like a 90s, 80s country music and Real Housewives crossover in audience there is. But I don't really mess with new country music that much, like at all. But old country music, especially female driven country music, is kind of what I was raised on. So love the Judds, have always wanted to see the Judds. I was devastated in April when Naomi passed away, and they had already announced like this big, farewell tour that, prior to Naomi's passing. And the final date was going to be in Kentucky. And Kentucky, if you don't know, is where the Judds, are from. They're from Ashland, Kentucky, which is about an hour outside of Lexington, where I'm going. I think something close. I don't know. Kentucky can't be that big, can it? Anyway, so whenever Naomi passed away, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be the farewell tour. It was announced that Winona was going to keep going and do the tour, and she was going to be joined by different, like various celebrity, like other female singers at each stop, right? So I lucked out because back to, loving 90s female country music, the person headlining with Winona in Kentucky is none other than Faith Hill. Hello, iconic. So signed up for that. My friend Henry in Texas, we're both flying to Kentucky this week. We're meeting up. Going to spend the weekend there and go see this concert. So yes, that's why I am unable to record my podcast when I normally do, because your girl will be a few beers, margaritas, something deep in Kentucky, trying to find something to do on Thursday night. Okay. So, and it is, it's not funny, but it is like, wow, this would happen to me. I bought tickets for this last show because I was like, oh my God, like the last show of the farewell tour ever, Faith Hill, farewell tour, home state of the Judds. Like it's going to be magical. I bet the family will be there. I bet there'll be other guest surprise appearances. And then this week, 3 days before I leave, they announced 15 more tour dates, which is over double the amount of tour dates they already had. So would have had plenty of opportunities to go in next year, because that's when the just announced tour dates will kick off. However, you know what? Maybe it'll be so damn good I'll go to one of those too. But it is funny that I base this whole trip around seeing I want to see the final show, final tour, and then they end up extending the tour after I have spent hundreds and hundreds or maybe more of dollars on flights and Airbnbs and tickets and etc. So lucky me. Yes. But anyway, totally thrilled to be going to do that. Yeah. And y'all will have to DM me and let me know, are there any Judds fans out there? Like, do any of y'all have taste? In the words of Ramona Singer, acquire some taste if y'all haven't already. Okay. Get into the Judds. Good stuff. All right. Before I get into listeners' choice suggestions, I am going to hit on this week's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac because that is the one Housewives episode I have been able to watch already. And I just want to say, Gizelle Bryant, I worry about the longevity of Gizelle Bryant, not because that she is not iconic and because she doesn't she gets the job done. Like, she gets the job done. But Gizelle might get the job done too good. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like she clocks in so hard that, like, I mean, the only person that she hasn't really crossed at this point is Robin. And, you know, there are times where if you're on an island by yourself, that's when your time on the show comes to an end. And I don't necessarily see that happening, because I don't see her crossing Robin to a point that, you know, Robin would be forever done with her. I mean, even Karen, who, you know, has had numerous battles with Gizelle over the years, as we have seen. And, you know, she and Gizelle forgive each other all the time. But, you know, watching Gizelle go after Chris Bassett is, I mean, albeit it's entertaining. Like, we're watching it. Like, the drama is good. You know, watching Candace, you know, bring over the executive producer and be like, show my fourth wall shit. Like, don't take anything out. Like, I'm pissed. I want people to know it. I had respect for that. But there comes a time, too, when we as viewers, and I feel like that moment may be right now, are just like, we know what Gizelle's doing, which is pulling shit out of her ass for the sake of TV. You know, and I guess, like, what is the line? Do we care? Do we care? Or do we want genuine conflict? You know, I mean, Gizelle was giving, you know, storyline within a couple episodes. And now, granted, in her defense, it was Ashley that kind of brought it up. But Gizelle saw that train coming, and she said, I'm taking a ride with you, you know, choo choo. So I don't know. It gets to a point when it's like, what else? Who else? You know, very much like a Lisa Rinna, you know, like where, you know, Rinna, people are just like, what else can she do? Like, who else can she go after? You know? And yes, it's entertaining, but it does, I don't know. It just raises the question to me, like, how long does that last? Maybe it lasts forever. Maybe we continue to be, you know, entranced by the messes of Gizelle Bryant and that house too. But, you know, who knows? Oh, and I saw this tweet. Let me read it to you. I just sent it to my friends. Season 1 attacks Karen's marriage. Season 2 attacks Ashley's marriage. Season 3 attacks Karen's marriage. Season 4 attacks both marriages. Season 5 attacks Monique's marriage. Season 6 attacks Wendy's marriage. Season 7 attacks Candace's marriage. You're next, Mia. That was from Bravo Bees on Twitter. Like, it's just wild. Like, when you look at Gizelle's basically resume on the show, marriages is what she goes after. And so I don't know. It's just funny. And I mean, look, I'm here for it. I feel like we're just getting started with the drama on Potomac this season. But yeah, it's just a thought that came to mind. Another thing I wanted to hit on is, you know, Mini Basset Hound over here clocking in for week 2. Can't believe I'm saying it. But yeah, Candace was given this episode. You know, this might be the season. You know what? It would be Gizelle Bryant that drove me into the arms of Candace Bassett. It would be. So I'm here for it. You know, I like her, like, not taking any of Gizelle's bullshit with this, like, delivery about being uncomfortable around her husband. Not to take away from the fact that Gizelle may have been uncomfortable, but I can see where Candace is coming from, in the sense that it's like, okay, what are we doing? We just started filming. You've seen him since then. Like, you've seen me before that. Like, what's happening? What's happening? And yeah, I mean, her little moment where she said, Michael Darby is available for hire if y'all want the creepy man role. I mean, she ate with ease right there in that moment. And then we cannot forget either, you know, not today, neck, not today, ankles. Oh, I mean, just honestly, it was great. So, Candace, I don't know what you're doing, girl, but you're swaying me. I'm here. You know, let me get my little Basset Hound shirt ready. I don't know. Also wanted to shout out from this week's episode of Real Housewives of Potomac. God bless the editors. Let's get a round of applause for the editors. If anybody from the Real Housewives of Potomac's production company out there is listening to this, which Why the hell would you be listening to this? No, I'm just kidding. Pay the editors more. I don't care if they're the highest paid people of the cast and the crew. They still deserve a raise. These people clock in. They know the audience of the show. They know those tiny little gems of moments that we are looking for that just like totally resonate online and on social media. And for example, this week was, poor Robin's going around for everybody, just passing around the word about Chris Bassett. And every time she talks to somebody, whether it be Gizelle or Mia, they're like, well, I got a story too. And Robin's like, why me? Why me? And so Robin is talking to Mia over, I think they were having like lunch and drinks. And, Mia's like, well, I got something to add. That's what she said in regards to Chris Bassett, allegedly being inappropriate with women or, women on the show. And, she said that at Karen's like spring fling reveal taco party thing, whatever that long party event name thing was, she said there, I could just feel him staring at me. I could feel Chris Bassett staring at me. And she was like, I mean, like I didn't look, but she's like, I could just feel it. I could just feel it. And she's like, and it kept happening. It just kept happening. And then these editors, God bless these editors, they bring up the clip of Mia there having a grand old time, woohoo, having fun, whooping it up. And honey, if Chris was not looking at everything but Mia, I mean, Chris was sooner looking at the floor. Chris was looking at the sky to see if it was going to rain. Chris was, over there at the bar staff asking them if they, what kind of drinks they was making up. Chris was doing anything and everything except talking to, thinking about, or looking at Mia. And the editors wanted us to know that. And I like Mia, but I was embarrassed for her in that moment. The girl, listen, I think it's becoming more and more accurate, or not accurate, but clear that Mia pulls shit out of her ass. Just, I don't even know that she knows what she's saying half the time. But unfortunately for her, the editors are here to remind her of what she said and just how inaccurate those statements may be. And they will prove that by showing video of another cast member's husband quite literally looking at anyone and everything except for you. Sorry, Mia. I saw what you were trying to do there and jump on. But it didn't land. It did not land. So it really does seem like maybe the editors are kind of, in Candace's favor this season. And perhaps, light bulb, ta-ding, perhaps it's because of what I said before. Like, editors and producers aren't stupid. They know that this, like, Gizelle has delivered great storylines and good mess for years. But this is the one time where it's like, might be a reach, might be reaching. Watch that shoulder from that reach. And so perhaps, they're going to be taking Candace's side and really in revealing that maybe Gizelle is just participating simply to participate, But let me tell you, this season of Potomac is delivering. If you are not watching, like, I actually feel bad for you. So yeah, Sunday nights, Potomac on Bravo, and then you can stream it on Peacock the next day. All right, we're going to get into your questions after this. All right. We're going to get into some of the things that you guys submitted on Instagram this week. If you don't follow me, make sure you are following me at Christian Gray Snow. I don't know how you'd be following me on Instagram and be listening to this podcast, but I digress. Anyway, first thing we are going to hit on was submitted by Jody H225. And when I said, what do you want me to discuss this week? What topics do you want hit on in the Housewives world? You said Kim Zolciak-Biermann's broke ass. So here we go. If you haven't been keeping up, allegedly, Real Housewives of Atlanta, OG, former star of Don't Be Tardy prior to it being canceled, Kim Zolciak-Biermann, is facing a foreclosure on her Atlanta, Georgia home. I have seen reports that so basically they took out like a $300,000 loan on the house and that was in like 2013, I think, when they bought it, but they haven't been able to pay that back. And they've since gone into, I guess, like foreclosure on that loan, which is crazy because it was only a $300,000 loan on like a $2 million house. So, yes, but apparently I read today that something had been settled. I don't know Back in the day when I was a Kim Zolciak fan, I've really have fallen off with her in recent years, you know. But back in the day, you know, I used to always be like, I'm really worried about that bitch's finances. Like, all she does is sit at home and like shop and spend money and like I know Croy. She said Croy made 25 million. Yeah, maybe pre-tax, maybe pre-agent fees, maybe forever ago before you came and y'all had 18 kids. So, yeah, I don't know. We will see. But all I do know is that it seems very clear that Kim needs a check. And I would absolutely love to watch Kenya, Sheree, and all them grill her about what's going on. So I need Andy and a camera. Get Kim to Atlanta Housewives immediately. Let's watch this mess go down, please. Thank you. Got a few of these. People wanting to talk about Lisa Rinna and the IP address insanity. Okay. This is wild because the other day, I don't even know what kicked this off. Like Rinna posted like a tweet or something from like a fan account, what people thought was a fan account, to her story and then deleted it. And I think the tweet was like kind of like really insensitive and fucked up. But before she deleted it, obviously people saw and they saw the account. And I think somebody goes to the account on Twitter and they're like, God, this person like has tweeted like so much mean shit about the women and Garcelle and Sutton, like, you know, over the last couple years, really in this season. And so using some new Twitter feature like Twitter Blue or something, you can get like an IP address and then they use that IP address to get like latitude, longitude coordinates, which then routed to some street called and Beverly Hills. And that street is the literal street that Lisa Rinna lives on. Meaning people think that Rinna was behind this horrible account, right? And I will say, you know, I kind of did at first. I was like, yeah, I believe this. And I do still believe it. But I am going to say why is because there was one tweet that I saw where it was like, you have to ask yourself who benefits from this. And as I said, you know, in my Instagram story, like that's something Rinna used to say to me prior to being blocked. Like if things were coming out or, you know, like leaks, things like that, she would say, you got to think who's benefiting from this, you know? And so to see that exact language in the tweet, I was like, you might be caught. You might be caught. I don't know. But also, to be quite honest, I think I want to be done talking about Lisa Rinna. I do. Because I'm exhausted. I'm fucking exhausted. That's it. I'm done. I don't want to talk about her anymore. Moving on. Two people, Alexandria_Marie and Steph10706, both wanted to know where in Kentucky am I going, because that is where you live. I did say this earlier, but I'll say it again. I'm going to Lexington, Kentucky, flying into Cincinnati, though. It's only like an hour away, I think. And then we'll drive to Lexington. I'm going to be there for 3 nights. Give me all the suggestions. Not really entirely sure there's a raging gay scene in Lexington, Kentucky, but if so, I'd like to check it out. Also, I have reservations at a few restaurants, but please, please, please slide in these DMs. Give me some more. Tell me where to go. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, coffee, desserts. I want it all. Tell me what to do. Please and thank you. SMC_1990. What Teddy said about you on 2 T's in a Pod this week, Tamara backed you, though. This is why I don't want to talk about Lisa Rinna, because Teddy, who I like and have never had a problem with or never said anything about, allegedly, I haven't listened, said that like I was trying to like get like someone told me she made it seem like I was clout chasing by posting about what's going on with Rinna and how like if Rinna had to block people like me to protect her mental health, then that's up to her. And that is absolutely correct. Period. It is. But let's make no mistake. She didn't block me to protect her mental health, because half the people she blocked to protect her mental health, quote unquote, she then later went and unblocked, leaving only people like me, who she was really trying to have do the dirty work for a long time that didn't, leaving them blocked under the guise that she was just doing this for her mental health, which I quite frankly do not believe. And so, Teddy, I really wish you hadn't said that. I know you're just protecting your friend, but quite frankly, she's your friend, so you should know how fucking messy she is. But yeah, no, Tamara reached out to me and said it was going to be discussed. So I do appreciate Tamara for doing that, and I appreciate Tamara for having my back. Because, I mean, look, at the end of the day, I'm like a Housewives account that Rena took advantage of. And when I was done playing her game, or she thought I was done playing her dirty game, she blocked me. That's all there is to it. Period. Now I'm done talking about it. Thank you. Someone whose name I'm not going to say because I think he's trying to be messy wants me to talk about Adrienne Bailon joining E! News and if Loni Love was betrayed. I have a feeling this question is coming because I worked at The Real for years with both Loni and Adrienne. I am fucking ecstatic to see that E! News is getting rebooted, not only with Adrienne, but Justin Sylvester, who we all know is very close with Kyle from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And E! News is so iconic. Like, growing up, like, everybody loved E! News. If you watched E! News as a kid and you were me, you're gay now. That's just how it worked. So I'm really, really happy to see Adrienne, a part of something that's going to be what I really think will be a successful reboot. Do I think Loni was betrayed? I know where that's coming from because Loni, both during The Real and, after The Real's cancellation, has been doing a lot of work at E! on air for them. So, I don't think that Loni was betrayed. I think that Loni has a lot of stuff going on, and I think Loni and Adrienne will always mutually support each other. And even just yesterday or today, I think Loni was doing a happy birthday post for Adrienne, and sending some love to Adrienne's new baby Ever. So, no, I don't think that Loni was betrayed. If I know Loni, she's probably got something else in her back pocket big that she's getting ready to do as well. And I know that Adrienne is going to kill it on E! News and be the life that show, and not only that show, but that network needed. Adrienne will be that person, mark my words. She's one of the coolest people you will ever meet, the nicest person to work with, and creative as fuck. I mean, creative as fuck. You will, and I really hope people get to see that about Adrienne when E! News starts. So very excited about that and can't wait to see how it goes. Vandy KMP. Is that like Vandekamp, like Brie Vandekamp from Desperate Housewives? Love. Wants to know, how much is Vicky filmed for season 17? I'm pretty sure only twice. That's public knowledge, right? I think that's public knowledge. I think it's twice. Once from what we've seen, and then maybe once from something that we haven't seen. So we might get a couple of pop-ups. And then we're going to hope that those are the highest rated episodes of the season. And then we are going to bully the producers into bringing her back. Okay. And I'll let you know the day that we're all going to gather to make that happen. A_Harper11. The DeBros joining Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Could Heather dethrone Kyle? Well, first off, dethrone and Kyle should never be in the same sentence. Kyle is Beverly Hills. Period. Point blank. Period. Motherfucking dot. Even if Kyle were to leave Beverly Hills, it will always be her show. That's how I feel. So I do agree with that there should be some speculation about Heather wanting to get on Housewives of Beverly Hills. When I was at BravoCon and, I was watching the Real Housewives of Orange County panel, and Heather was, discussing the LA house that they had just bought. It's a condo like downtown. And I felt like she gave, I don't know the words that were said, but it was like she gave like a little like nod, like you'll just have to see kind of thing to the audience. Like whenever she was talking about it being in Los Angeles, Beverly Hills, like you'll just have to see. They do have the same production company. Evolution Media does both. I also believe Evolution Media does Botch. So perhaps Heather's in good with somebody there. I don't know. But I mean, for her, if you haven't heard, they also just sold their house for $55 million. It was the third highest selling of a home in Orange County history ever. Highest one in the county this year. So absolutely insane. I was talking to people on Twitter about it. Like, how much did they ever discuss how much it was? And people said it was somewhere between 22 and 25 million. So these motherfuckers literally profited $30 million off of their house. I say that from my 300 square foot apartment. Thank you. So I do think it's weird for them to be uprooting and completely moving their, out of this house that they just built, unless it was for financial reasons and they just saw the possibility of a huge profit and took it. But no, it makes it seem like they kind of keep hinting that their next chapter will be in Los Angeles. And I think it's safe to say that obviously Heather going to Beverly Hills would be something that the network would probably be open to. Who knows? But could it be also that Heather saw that Taylor had this historic move between franchises and now she's like, I want that. All right, everybody, that is all for this week's episode of the Christian Grey Snow Show. Thank you so much for kicking your weekend off with me, as you always do. Right now, when you're listening to this, I am deep in the heart of Kentucky, and I hope that you all have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you right back here, same time, same place next week, and don't do anything that I wouldn't do this weekend, which means you're free to go be a crazy hoe. Besos.